My brother, my sister, what if I told you the reason your heart has been breaking over and over is because the one who made it is trying to bring it back to him? Stay with me, because when you hear this, you will never look at your pain the same way again. The heaviest hearts are the ones Allah is holding closest. My brother, my sister, that heaviness you feel tonight, it is not proof that Allah has left you. I know sometimes it feels like the weight is too much, like your chest is carrying a stone, like you can't take a deep breath without feeling that ache inside. And when the heart feels heavy, the mind starts to whisper dangerous things. Maybe Allah has forgotten me. Maybe I've done too much wrong. Maybe my dua doesn't matter anymore. But no, do not believe those whispers. Do not believe that lie. This heaviness is not a punishment. It's not a sign of distance. It's not proof of abandonment. It is proof that you are being held so closely that even your pain has not touched the ground. Do you know what that means? It means every tear that slips from your eyes is caught before it falls. Every sigh you let out when you think no one can hear is heard before it fades into the air. Every thought you cannot put into words is understood before it even reaches your lips. You are not drifting in this storm. You are not alone in this journey. You are not walking without a guide. You are being carried by the one who knows the path better than you, carried by the one who knows every turn before you take it, carried by the one who sees dangers you do not see and shields you from them without you even knowing. It is a strange kind of love, this love Allah has for His servant. You may not feel it in the way the world teaches you to feel love. It may not be warm words or constant ease. Sometimes it comes as a storm, but a storm that carries you to a safer shore. And the one who carries you will never drop you. Think back to the moments you thought you wouldn't survive. Remember the nights you cried so much your body shook. Remember the mornings you woke up and thought, I can't do this anymore. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still able to say La ilaha illallah. Who kept you here? Who held your heart together when you were certain it was breaking? Who gave you strength when you couldn't even get out of bed? It was Him, always Him, never anyone else. And if He has held you through everything until this moment, do you really think He will let go now? No. The one who has been with you in your lowest moments will be the same one who lifts you into your brightest ones. Sometimes you don't see the hands holding you, but you feel the effects. Like when a child falls asleep in the car, and by the time they wake up, they are in their bed. They don't remember the journey, but someone carried them the whole way. That is you. You think you are dragging yourself through life, but in reality, Allah is carrying you through places you would never survive alone. He sees the weight on your chest. He knows the thoughts you fight before you sleep. He knows the names you do not mention out loud, but still ache for in your prayers. And He knows the fears you bury deep inside because you don't want to look at them yourself. Yet still, He holds you. Still, He protects you. Still, He wakes you every morning and gives you another day to heal, another day to try, another day to hope. Your heaviness is not the end of the story. It is part of the process. The stone on your chest will not always be there. The ache in your heart will not always ache. The tears you cry now will not always be tears of pain. One day they will be tears of gratitude. You will cry and say, Ya Allah, I see it now. Every heavy day, every silent night was you holding me closer, not further away. And on that day you will realize the weight was never meant to break you. It was meant to bring you home. So tonight, don't confuse heaviness with distance. Don't think silence means absence. Don't believe pain means punishment. Sometimes the ones Allah loves most are the ones He allows to feel the deepest pain, because through that pain, they find the deepest closeness to Him. And maybe, just maybe, this heaviness is your heart learning how to depend on Him completely. So let Him carry you. Stop trying to hold yourself together on your own. Stop pretending you're fine when you're not. You don't need to be fine for Him to love you. You just need to be His. And the one who carries you will never ever drop you. Your silent tears are loud in the heavens. My brother, my sister, there are moments in life when the heart aches quietly, not with screaming, not with visible wounds, but with a slow, steady heaviness that feels like a shadow over your chest. And sometimes in those moments, your eyes fill, but you refuse to let the tears fall. Not because you are strong, but because you think no one will notice. Yet the heavens notice, the angels notice. The one who created your heart notices. Your silent tears are not silent up there. They are written, they are counted, they are carried to your Lord. When the world sleeps and you lie awake, when your pillow catches the drops you don't speak of, when your voice cracks but no one is there to hear, Allah is there, not watching you from a distance, but near, closer than the pain in your chest, closer than the air you are breathing. He is not only aware of your tears, He knows what caused each one. He knows the heartbreak you told no one about. He knows the disappointment you carry silently. He knows the grief that comes in waves, even years after the loss. And He knows the prayers you are too tired to make out loud. You think your crying is small? Allah made the heart that feels it. Allah made the eyes that release it. Allah made the soul that aches for Him in the dark. And in His sight, those tears are beautiful. Do you know that some tears are so beloved to Allah that He promises to protect the person who shed them from the fire? A single drop shed sincerely for Him can stand between you and eternal harm. Your tears, my brother, my sister, they are not wasted water. They are seeds, seeds of forgiveness, seeds of mercy, seeds of closeness. One day you will see the garden, they grew. There are secrets between you and Allah that the world will never know. Your tears are among those secrets. When you sit after Salah, head bowed, and your eyes sting because the ayah you recited felt like it was written just for you, that moment is recorded. When you hear a dua and your eyes soften, not because of the words alone, but because you recognize your own life in them, that softness is recorded. When you stand in the darkness of your room and your body is still but your heart is shaking, that shaking is recorded. You have never been alone in your sadness. Every drop that left your eyes in the name of Allah has risen to the sky like a prayer without words. Do not underestimate the value of the pain you've carried to Him. Do not dismiss the nights you fell asleep mid-dua because exhaustion pulled you away. Even that is written. Even that is cherished. Allah does not tire of listening to you. The angels do not tire of writing for you. Sometimes you think your dua is unanswered because you see no change. But perhaps the change was inside you. Perhaps the tear softened your heart, so it could receive the blessing later. And sometimes Allah delays the answer because the tear is more valuable to your soul than the thing you are asking for. One day, in the hereafter, you will stand before your Lord and He will show you moments you had forgotten, moments where you thought you were ignored, but the heavens had been moved by you, and you will realize your silent tears were never silent. they were the loudest thing in the unseen. And Allah heard every single one. You are not breaking, you are being reshaped. My brother, my sister, there are moments in life where you look at yourself and feel like the pieces no longer fit. You wake up in the morning and the person in the mirror feels unfamiliar. Your smile feels borrowed. Your strength feels like it belongs to someone you used to be. You remember when you used to laugh without thinking, when your heart didn't feel like it was wrapped in chains, when you could plan for the future without fear that everything would collapse again. But now you feel like you've been stripped down to the most fragile version of yourself. And you wonder, Ya Allah, am I falling apart? The answer is both no and yes. No, you are not falling apart in the way you fear. Yes, you are falling apart in the way you need. Because some parts of you are not meant to survive this season. Some habits, some attachments, some illusions, if they stayed, they would poison the person you are becoming. Allah, in His mercy, is letting them break away. He is letting the old pieces crack and fall so the heart beneath can breathe again. You may think this is cruelty, but tell me, if a gardener does not cut back the branches, how will the tree grow stronger? If a craftsman does not melt the metal, how will it be reshaped into something useful? If a surgeon does not cut away what harms, how will the body heal? It hurts because it's deep. It feels heavy because it's important. It takes time because what is being built is worth it. You are not collapsing into nothing. You are being rebuilt into something. A potter takes clay into his hands. It is shapeless, soft, ordinary, but in his vision, he already sees the vessel it will become. He turns it on the wheel, pressing here, stretching there. Sometimes the clay sags. Sometimes it wobbles. Sometimes it nearly collapses. But the potter never stops turning the wheel. He never stops shaping. He knows exactly where to press and exactly how much pressure to use. That is Allah with you right now. This wheel you are spinning on, the constant changes, the unexpected turns, is not random. It's His hand guiding you. You feel stretched because you are growing. You feel pressed because you are being refined. Every disappointment, every setback is part of the shaping. Every delay, every no is part of the shaping. You don't see the final form yet, but He does. And when He is finished, you will hold more faith than you ever thought possible. You will carry more wisdom than you asked for. You will walk lighter because what once weighed you down will no longer fit the shape you've become. So no, this is not the end of you. It is the unmaking of who you were to make space for who you were always meant to be. One day you will look back at this season and whisper to yourself, I thought I was breaking, but I was only becoming. And when that day comes, you will thank Allah for every moment that felt like the end, but was actually the beginning. The weight you feel is the weight being lifted. My brother, my sister, sometimes the weight in your chest is so heavy that even breathing feels like work. You wake up and before the day even begins, it feels like a mountain is sitting on your heart. You carry it when you walk into a room. You carry it when you speak to people. You carry it when you lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if tomorrow will be any lighter. And you tell yourself, this weight is crushing me. This must mean I am losing. But what if I told you this heaviness is not the weight of defeat? What if I told you this is the weight of something being removed? Because sometimes before Allah lifts the burden, you feel it more sharply, like a thorn being pulled from deep under the skin. it stings most just before it's gone. You think you are being pressed down, but in truth, you are being freed. Allah is removing things you cannot see. Pain you thought was part of you. Fear you thought was your nature. Attachments you thought you could never live without. And removing them hurts. When a rope has been tied around you for years, untangling it feels like pulling at your very skin. But it must be untied for you to walk freely again. This is what Allah is doing. He is loosening the knots you didn't even know were there. So the heaviness you feel is not the sign of something being added. It is the sign of something being taken away. Think of the dawn. The darkest hour is not at sunset. It's right before the sun rises. And your heart is the same. The heaviest moment often comes right before the release. Why? Because Allah is teaching you to feel the full weight, so that when it is lifted, you will know exactly what He saved you from. You will stand in that moment, take a deep breath, and realize, I'm not carrying it anymore. And that breath will taste sweeter than any you've ever taken. Sometimes the blessing is not in adding something new to your life. It's in subtracting what was crushing you. A toxic relationship, a sin you kept returning to, a fear that lived rent-free in your mind, a habit that was stealing your peace. When Allah removes them, your heart will feel strange at first, lighter, but also exposed. That's because your soul has been under the weight for so long that it forgot what freedom feels like. Give it time. Give yourself patience. One day, the heaviness you feel now will become a memory you thank Allah for. Because you will see, it was never meant to stay. It was only there so you could learn how to walk without it. So the next time your chest feels heavy, don't rush to assume you are falling apart. Perhaps you are in the final moments of being set free. And when you are free, you will know in your bones that the one who lifted it never let it crush you. His mercy enters where you think you're weakest. My brother, my sister, we all have places in our lives we try to hide. Corners of the soul we think are too dark. Moments in our past we pray no one ever finds out. Sometimes it's a habit you can't shake. Sometimes it's a mistake that replays in your mind long after the world has forgotten. Sometimes it's a weakness you keep seeing in yourself. No matter how hard you try to erase it, and you tell yourself, this is the part of me Allah must dislike the most. You try to cover it. You try to push it down. You try to bury it under good deeds, hoping He won't notice. But Allah already knows it's there. And still, He calls you back. Because the part you think is your ugliest may be the very door His mercy walks through. He is not just the Lord of your strengths. He is the Lord of your weaknesses. The same Allah who accepts the salah of the one who prays perfectly is the same Allah who runs to the one who prays with a trembling voice, unsure if their words are even good enough. The same Allah who loves the one who never fell is the same Allah who embraces the one who fell 100 times but kept coming back. You see, your weakness is not a wall. It's a meeting place. It's the space where you finally realize you cannot save yourself alone. It's the crack in your armor where the light of Allah's help can finally enter. If you were perfect, you might forget your need for Him. If you never stumbled, you might think you could walk this path without His hand. But your weakness reminds you every single day that without Him, you would not make it to tomorrow. That reminder is mercy. That reminder is a gift. When the Prophet ﷺ told us that Allah is more merciful to His servant than a mother is to her child, He didn't mean when the servant is perfect. He meant always. Even when the servant is weak, especially when the servant is weak, because weakness humbles you. Weakness brings you to sujood. Weakness makes you whisper, Ya Allah, I have no one but you. And Allah loves that call. He loves the voice of the one who is too tired to pretend. Maybe you've been ashamed of your weakness for years. But what if I told you the part you hate about yourself is the part that keeps you close to Allah? It's the reminder that you're not independent. It's the reminder that you are the servant and He is the master. It's the reminder that without His forgiveness, without His help, without His covering, you are nothing. And yet, even knowing all of that, He still keeps you. He still feeds you. He still wakes you every morning. He still answers your calls in ways you don't even see. So the next time you find yourself staring at your flaws, thinking, I can't be loved like this, remember, His mercy is not looking for perfection. It is looking for the heart that turns back to Him over and over. No matter how many times it has to. And maybe, just maybe, the place you feel the weakest is the very place Allah wants to show you just how strong His mercy really is. So don't close the door. Let Him in. Because where you think you're failing is where He is waiting to meet you. Not all healing feels like healing at first. My brother, my sister, there's something nobody warns you about when you ask Allah for healing. It doesn't always feel like healing when it begins. You make dua for your heart to be fixed, and instead of a warm feeling of peace washing over you, life begins to change in ways you didn't expect. The people you thought would be by your side forever drift away. The opportunities you prayed for never arrive. The plans you made with so much hope fall apart before your eyes. And you think to yourself, how is this healing? Why does it hurt more now than before? Because healing doesn't always start with adding. Sometimes healing starts with removing. If you've ever had a thorn lodged deep in your skin, do you know the moment of removing it can hurt more than leaving it there? But you also know leaving it will cause more damage later. That's what Allah is doing. He's removing the thorns you've grown used to carrying. They've been part of you for so long that you've mistaken them for something you need. When He begins to take them away, the space they leave behind feels empty, and emptiness can feel like breaking. But it's not breaking, it's clearing for something purer, something softer, something that won't harm you when you hold it close. So if you feel the sting of something leaving, remember that sting is proof of a cure beginning. Not every wound shows on the surface, and not every cure is given in public. Some of the most important healing Allah will do for you happens quietly in ways no one else will notice. He may remove someone from your life long before you realize the harm they were causing. He may close a door you begged Him to open because behind it was a test you weren't ready to face. And sometimes He'll leave you in a waiting season that feels endless because rushing ahead would only deepen the wound you already have. Think about the seed under the soil. From above, it looks like nothing is happening. But under the surface, roots are forming, strength is building, and life is preparing to break through. That's you right now. The silence you feel, it's not neglect, it's protection. The stillness you hate, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Even when you can't see it, Allah is working on the parts of you that will carry blessings later. Because He knows if He gave them to you too soon, the weight would crush you. Healing often starts in places no one can see. And that's why it feels so lonely. But the truth is, you've never been less alone. One day, you will stand in a moment that feels light. Your chest will rise and fall without that heavy ache. You look around at the life Allah has given you, and you'll remember the nights you thought you'd never get here. And in that moment, you'll understand. You'll understand why He didn't let certain people stay. Why certain prayers went unanswered. Why certain seasons stretched longer than you thought you could bear. You'll see that healing wasn't about giving you what you wanted, but about shaping you for what you truly needed. The doors that closed were not rejection, they were redirection. The people who left weren't punishment, they were protection. The delays weren't neglect, they were preparation. And you will thank Allah not just for what He gave you, but for what He kept from you. Because if He had healed you in the way you imagined, you might still be holding on to the very thing that was hurting you. So tonight, even if the healing doesn't feel like healing, trust it. Even if the cure tastes bitter now, swallow it. Because the one who gave it to you knows exactly what it will fix. And when it's finished, you'll realize every moment of discomfort was the sound of your soul being restored. Every night of the heart has its dawn. My brother, my sister, every heart has its own night. A night that doesn't begin with the setting of the sun, but with the setting of your peace. It's the night of the soul, the night when joy feels far away, when even the simplest things feel heavy, when the colors of life fade into shades of gray. You wake in the morning, but it feels like the night never ended. You smile for people, but inside, the darkness still sits there. It's not the kind of darkness you can turn off with a light switch. It's the kind that clings to you, follows you, sits beside you when you're alone. And you wonder, will this ever end? Sometimes the heart's night is caused by loss. Someone you loved is gone and the world feels emptier than it should. Sometimes it's caused by disappointment. You built your hopes so high only to see them fall. Sometimes it's caused by exhaustion, not the kind sleep can fix, but the kind that comes from carrying the same burden day after day, year after year. And there are nights that have no name. You don't know why you feel this way. You just know you do. Those are often the hardest because you can't point to a cause and so you can't imagine the cure. But here's what you need to remember. No night lasts forever and neither will yours. Allah, the one who created the sunrise, also wrote the sunrise for your heart. Just as the darkest hour of the night comes right before the dawn, the darkest moment in your heart often comes just before the light. It's not a coincidence. It's His design. Sometimes the night feels endless because you can't see the horizon, but the horizon is still there. And Allah has already written the moment when your light will break through. He has already decided when the shadows will leave. You might not believe it now. That's okay. Even the night doesn't know when it will end until the first light appears. But it ends. It always ends. Your heart will not stay in this place forever. Even if you can't imagine it, Allah can. Even if you can't picture the moment you'll smile for real again, Allah can. Even if you don't have the strength to chase the light, Allah will bring it to you. Because the one who brings dawn to the entire world every single day without fail can bring dawn to your heart too. And He will. That's not my promise. That's His. My brother, my sister, before dawn breaks, the night becomes the darkest. Before relief arrives, the heart can feel its heaviest. And sometimes you are at your lowest point, not because you're far from change, but because you're standing right on its edge. The problem is, it doesn't feel like the edge of change. It feels like the edge of collapse. But that's how Allah's plan often works. The seed buried deep in the soil has to crack open before it can grow. If you saw it in that moment, you might think it's dying, but in truth, it's beginning its life. And your heart is the same. When the pressure becomes almost unbearable, when the weight feels like it might crush you, sometimes that's the exact moment Allah is preparing to lift it. The enemy whispers, you're finished. But Allah is whispering, you're ready. There are signs, tiny, quiet signs, that your dawn is already making its way towards you. Maybe you feel a small shift in your heart, a moment of calm where there used to be none. Maybe you notice a day where you don't cry, even though you still feel the ache. Maybe you laugh at something unexpectedly, and for a second, you remember what lightness feels like. Maybe you hear a verse from the Quran, and instead of breaking you, it wraps around your heart like a blanket. These are not accidents. These are not random. These are the first soft rays of your dawn. Allah sending you a taste of what's coming, like a cool breeze before the morning sun, like the sky lightening just a little before the day arrives. Sometimes the signs come through people, a kind word from someone you barely know, a reminder from a friend at the exact time you needed it, a dua made for you without your asking. Sometimes the signs come in stillness, a moment of peace in your salah, a tear that falls in sujood without pain behind it, a breath that feels easier than yesterday's. And sometimes the sign is simply that you are still here. Because if the night truly had the power to destroy you, it would have done so already. But it hasn't. You're still breathing. You're still trying. You're still turning to Allah, even if all you can say is Ya Allah, and that alone is proof. Proof that the one who kept you through the night will not abandon you before the dawn. My brother, my sister, dawn does not come with a sudden explosion of light. It starts quietly, gently, almost without you noticing at first. One moment the horizon is dark. The next moment you notice the faintest line of gold. It's not enough to chase away the night completely, but it's enough to let you know the night is losing. That's how the heart's dawn begins too. After days, months, maybe even years of heaviness, you might wake one morning and realize you don't feel quite as heavy as yesterday. The ache is still there, but it's softer. The shadows still linger, but they don't cover everything anymore. It's like Allah has placed a small light in your chest and it's beginning to grow. You start to notice little things again. The way the air smells after rain. The way Quran feels sweeter than before. The way your lips move in dhikr without forcing yourself. These are not small things. These are the opening scenes of your dawn. The Prophet ﷺ told us that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those done consistently. Even if they are small, your dawn often arrives the same way. Small, steady, consistent. Some days the light will feel brighter. Other days the clouds may try to cover it again. But once the sun begins to rise, nothing can stop it from completing its climb. And nothing can stop your heart from reaching the day Allah has written for it. When the first light appears, don't rush it. Don't demand that the whole sky be bright at once. Let it grow. Let Allah expand it at the pace that will protect you. Because sometimes if the light comes too fast, it can overwhelm eyes that have been in darkness for too long. Allah knows exactly how much light your heart can hold today. And tomorrow He will give it more. And the next day, even more. Until one day, you'll realize the night is completely gone. And you can't even remember how heavy it once felt. And when that day comes, you will thank Allah for not rushing it, for letting it arrive slowly, gently, in a way that allowed your heart to heal as it brightened. My brother, my sister, no matter how long the night lasts, the sun has never failed to rise. Not once. And just as Allah brings the light to the world each morning, He will bring the light to your heart. It's not a possibility. It's a promise. The Quran doesn't say, perhaps after hardship comes ease. It says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. 94:6. It's already written into your story. The moment of relief, the season of light, the chapter where you can finally breathe again. You cannot delay it, and no one can take it from you. It is moving toward you, even on the days you feel stuck. Your only task in the night is to keep facing the direction of Allah. Even if you're too tired to walk toward Him, even if all you can do is whisper His name. Because the one you are whispering to is the same one who has carried you through every other darkness in your life. And when the dawn of your heart arrives, it will be worth every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered question. You will look back and see that the night was not wasted. It taught you how to lean on Allah when you couldn't stand. It stripped away the illusions that used to distract you. It reminded you that nothing in this world is permanent except His mercy. And perhaps most beautifully, it brought you to a kind of closeness with Him that only the night could have taught you. So don't curse the darkness. Thank Allah for keeping you through it. Thank Him for holding your heart together when you thought it would shatter completely. And know this, to the dawn He is bringing you to is not just a return to how things used to be. It's better, it's deeper. It's a light that will not fade like the last one did. Because this time, it will not be built on illusions or temporary comforts. It will be built on Him. And when your heart is lit by His light, no night, no matter how deep, will ever be able to extinguish it again. So wait for it. Hold on for it. Trust in it. Because your night has an ending written by the one who never fails His promise. And the dawn is already on its way. Give your heart back to the one who made it. My brother, my sister, you've been carrying your heart like it's yours to fix, holding it together with tired hands, trying to mend the cracks with things that never truly fit, pouring it into people who couldn't hold it, trusting it to moments that couldn't keep it safe. And now it feels fragile, it feels worn, it feels heavier than it should. Maybe you've been looking for comfort in the wrong places, in people who change, in things that fade, in dreams that don't last. But your heart was never built to survive on temporary things. It was made for the one who gave it life. Every beat, every ache, every moment of joy was designed to be known by Him. When you hand your heart to people, you risk them dropping it. When you hand it to the world, you risk it being crushed. But when you hand it back to Allah, you place it in hands that never slip. You place it with the one who has held it since before you were born. Your heart is not safe anywhere else. And deep down, you know it. Because no matter how much love or success or comfort you've chased, it never quite fits the way you hoped. There's always a small emptiness, a quiet restlessness. That's your heart calling for home. And home is Allah. There comes a point where your hands are too tired to keep holding everything together. You've patched the cracks over and over. You've kept smiling so no one would notice the weight. You've told yourself, I can manage, I can fix this. But your heart knows the truth. It's whispering to you, it's time to let go. Let go of the belief that you have to carry it alone. Let go of the fear that no one will hold it if you put it down. Let go of the thought that Allah only wants you when you're strong. He wants you now exactly as you are. Tired, worn, messy, with pieces that don't seem to fit anymore. Hand your heart to Him the way a child hands over something broken to a parent. Not with an explanation, not with conditions, just with trust. Say, Ya Allah, I can't fix this, but you can. And when you do, something shifts. The pressure to have it all figured out starts to melt. The fear of what if I'm not enough begins to fade. The weight you thought you had to carry forever doesn't feel as heavy anymore, because now it's in hands that never get tired, hands that never make mistakes, hands that have been holding you quietly all along. That's the moment healing begins. Not when you finally feel strong, but when you finally admit you can't be strong without Him. My brother, my sister, when Allah holds your heart, it is not like when people hold it. People hold it for a while, then their hands grow tired. They hold it as long as it benefits them, and when it doesn't, they let go. But Allah never lets go. His holding is different. It's steady, it's sure, it's protective in ways you cannot see. When Allah holds your heart, He shields it from things you don't even know could harm you. He keeps away what would poison it. He closes doors you cry over now, because those doors would have led to places you were never meant to stand. When He holds your heart, He allows pain only if that pain will make it purer. He allows loss only if that loss will bring you closer to Him. He allows waiting only if that waiting will prepare you for something greater. And when you think He has been silent with you, He has been speaking in ways your ears cannot hear yet. Through the people who left, through the delays you didn't understand, through the quiet moments in your salah where your tears fell without words. That was Him holding you. He does not hold your heart with one hand while the other is busy. Both hands, in the way we affirm for Him without imagining, are wrapped around you in care, in mercy, in precision. When Allah holds your heart, He doesn't just protect it from what's outside, He cleans what's inside. The grudges you couldn't let go of, the fears you thought were part of you, the desires that kept you restless, He removes them gently, sometimes so gently you don't even notice the change until much later. And when He gives your heart back to you, it's lighter, it's softer, it's stronger, it's clearer in knowing who it belongs to. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that hearts are between the fingers of the most merciful, and He turns them as He wills. So if your heart feels like it's shifting, it's because the most merciful is turning it toward what will save it. You may not see the full picture now, but one day you will. And on that day you will thank Allah for every single moment. He kept your heart in His care. Once your heart is back in the hands of the one who made it, you begin to live differently. The same problems may still surround you, but they don't own you anymore. The same pain might still pass through you, but it no longer defines you, because now your heart is not wandering alone in the dark. It is anchored, it is protected, it is where it was always meant to be. When Allah holds your heart, you start to notice how safe it feels. You stop chasing every hand that offers to carry it. You stop running after people who only wanted it for a season. You stop fearing that you will be left empty, because you know your fullness now comes from Him. You walk into each day with a quiet confidence, not because the path is easy, but because the one guiding you is capable of guiding you all the way home. When your heart belongs to Him, you are less shaken by the storms. The winds may still blow, the rain may still fall, but you are no longer standing unprotected. You are sheltered beneath His mercy. You are guarded by His decree. You are comforted by His words. Indeed, my mercy encompasses all things. And you begin to see beauty in places you never saw it before. In the small answered dua you almost forgot you made. In the patience He gave you when you were ready to give up. In the way your heart now rests more easily in Salah. This is the gift of living with a heart in His care. It keeps finding reasons to be grateful even when the world says you should be broken. It starts to heal from wounds you never thought would close. It starts to forgive things you thought you could never let go. It starts to love in a way that feels safe because it knows it is already loved by the one who needs nothing from it. And when new trials come, because they always do, you no longer panic as you once did. You no longer think, how will I survive this? Instead, you whisper, Ya Allah, this heart is yours. Protect it as you always have. You remember the nights you thought you'd never make it through and how He brought you through anyway. You remember the weight you thought would never lift and how He lifted it piece by piece. You remember the loneliness you thought would never end and how He filled it with His presence. And you realize you were never meant to hold your heart alone. It was never designed to be your burden. It was always meant to be your trust. A trust you hand back to the one who created it from nothing. So you live lighter now. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Because your heart finally knows where home is. And you make it your daily habit to return it to Him again and again. Every morning when you wake, every night before you sleep, every time you feel it start to grow restless, you hand it back and He takes it back and He holds it until the day He returns it to you in Jannah, free from every scar, free from every crack, free from every heaviness you ever carried in this world. On that day, you will hold it in your hands and whisper, Ya Allah, this is more whole than I ever imagined. This is more beautiful than I ever deserved. And He will say, this is what happens when you trust me with your heart. So tonight, don't hold it any longer. Give it back to Him. The one who gave it life is the only one who can make it whole again. My brother, my sister, there's a moment you'll remember for the rest of your life. It's not the day everything got better. It's not the moment the tears stopped. It's the quiet second when you finally said, Ya Allah, I'm done trying to do this without you. No more bargaining. No more half surrenders. No more saying I trust you with your lips while still clutching your heart in fear. It's the moment you truly let go. And in that letting go, and you feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Relief. Not because the problem is gone, not because the pain has ended, but because the weight has shifted. It's no longer on your chest. It's in His care. That's the kind of surrender the angels write with joy. That's the kind of moment Allah honors in ways you can't yet see. Because when you finally stop trying to protect yourself from Him, you realize He was never the one you needed protection from. You see now, in the storms you thought were meant to drown you, were the very winds pushing you back to shore. The hands you thought were taking from you were the same hands preparing a place you couldn't have reached on your own. So you stop fighting the current. You stop grabbing at anything just to feel safe. You let the water carry you because you trust the one steering it. And then, without warning, you feel the ground beneath your feet again. You're standing, not because the waves have calmed, but because your heart has anchored. And in that stillness, you understand something that changes you forever. Your heart was never safer than when it was entirely in His hands. So tonight, don't hold it anymore. You've carried it long enough. You've tried to fix it in 100 different ways, and still it feels heavy. Give it back. Hand your heart to the one who made it, the one who has loved it since before you even knew it was beating. Tell Him everything. Not because he doesn't already know, but because in telling him, you will feel his closeness in ways you have never felt before. And when you do, you'll realize something that will stay with you forever. Your heart has never been safer than when it is resting in his hands. May Allah protect your heart. May He heal your wounds, and may He return it to you on the day you meet Him, whole, pure, and more beautiful than you ever imagined.